Hi, we're here today with Tim Kobza, a professor in the Division of Contemporary Music here at USC. Hey Tim, do you mind giving a few words about yourself and your career?
Hi, Errol. Yeah, no problem. My name's Tim Kobza. I'm a professor at USC. I've been teaching at USC for about 23 years in the guitar department there. And I'm a professional guitarist working around the world in USC and Los Angeles. And I play live and I do studio work and I do a bit of production myself. So, songwriting, production, performing, studio work. It's kind of what I do.
Great, thank you. So what do you teach at USC? What kind of classes, and do you teach guitar?
I do teach guitar. I teach private guitar lessons. I teach guitar classes. I teach guitar ensemble classes. I teach popular music performance classes for non-majors and majors.
Okay, cool. So today, guys, we're going to be asking Tim some questions about the audition process for pop music students and just general questions about career as a musician, mainly in LA. So first off, what does the audition process look like for a popular music student looking in to getting into USC?
Okay, well, the process looks like, first of all, you have to really be serious about what you're doing in your career aspirations as a guitarist. We'll narrow it down to guitar first of all. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's great.
So what the guitar auditions look like. So first of all, you have to have a commitment to your instrument that can be demonstrated to us that you're in it for real and for the long haul. And obviously, you want to pursue a professional career in music. Once you've narrowed down your college choices and USC is on that list, you have to prepare for a pre-screen audition. And in the pre-screens, we're looking for basically uh, someone to demonstrate the skills necessary to fit into our freshman cohort at USC, which is a group of 20 or 25 popular music students that we feel would be a good fit to make it through 4 years together in our program. So we're looking for students that have the aptitude, the intellect, the skill set to make it through all 4 years at USC. So the pre-screen has to demonstrate those things in a very sort of, quick way so we can take a look at it and say, yes, we want this person to come in for a live audition. Things that they would put on their pre-screen to demonstrate that would be having a diverse skill set on guitar. So maybe they show us that they've put in a lot of hours practicing in the areas of jazz, blues, rhythm guitar, funk, and basically understanding the popular music language on guitar as demonstrated by some video clips that they send us.
And I know that in the first year, actually, I'm sure in all 4 years at USC, but especially in the first year, you guys have the popular music students learn about a bunch of different styles of music. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, our first year students go through a performance class that is supported by all of their private lessons. And the repertoire that they focus on in the freshman year is American roots music, everything from the 1950s pop all the way up to, say, James Brown, funk, Sly Stone, and Motown. So maybe some classic rock in there as well. So the timeline looks like everything from like Etta James, Big Mama Thornton, Elvis, all the way up into like Motown, Etta James Soul, Otis Redding, up into the Beatles, up into maybe some 1970s classic rock. You know, that's like the range of the freshman class. So we're really focusing on getting the students integrated into the language that today's music is built on, and it includes all that stuff. So we put them through the paces on that. bit of
Yeah.
repertoire.
That's great. So are you solely looking for talent, or do you look for students who have already kind of established themselves in the music industry in some way? Does that matter to you guys?
No, it doesn't matter if they've established themselves in the music industry, to be honest with you. It's more about seeing something in someone that demonstrates a well-rounded social aptitude. So we feel like they would work well with others. They're team players. Their attitude is positive. You know, they're willing to be taught. They show that they have the ability to succeed in an academic environment. They have a music theory background to some degree, so they're not, you know, drowning in a theory class when they're placed in there with French horn players who have been reading their whole life, and you know what I'm saying? So we're looking for that type of student who can succeed and also play well as a support player in a rhythm section, for example, or, you know, and talent definitely has a lot to do with that X factor that we're looking for as well. When somebody demonstrates that they just are, it comes naturally to them and they put the time in, and that's also something we're looking for.
Cool. So, specifically talking about the audition itself, how many people would you say are in the room? Is it like typically an entire panel of multiple people, or is it just you looking for your guitar students? Who's in the room?
Well, I can speak to the guitar auditions. Let's talk specifically about the guitar and the pop side of it, because we have two sides of the guitar department. We have the students auditioning for the pop program,
Mhm.
and we have the students auditioning for our jazz program that are, you know, guitarists. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the pop side. There's probably like 3 or 4 or 5 of us in that audition, and it's probably about a 15-minute speed dating situation. Students come in, they lead with their best shot, you know, like we ask them to play something that they've prepared for us that really demonstrates kind of where they're at on their instrument. And then we put them through some other uh, exercises. We have a rhythm section in there. So there's also a couple of student players, a bass player and a drummer, involved in the audition as well. And so we have them play together and see how they do playing with strangers in an audition situation.
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
they see how they do. You know, that takes some poise and some you know, focus to be able to
Yeah.
in that moment and really show your best stuff.
So you say it's very important for, you know, a student to know and be able to be put into any sort of situation. You kind of put that through the audition process. You know, can this kid come in and play with people they never play with, and let's just see how they roll with it.
Yes, that is part of it. See how they adapt and can improvise and be in the moment and not get, you know, not get overwhelmed by the moment, so they can actually think about what they're doing and then execute. And that's a big part of it.
Cool. Cool.
Great.
So, what kind of contact do you think students should have with professors and teachers before showing up to an audition? Would you say that's important or necessary, or is it just a, you know, whether you show up and know me for 10 years or you show up and I don't know you at all? Do you think that has any type of effect on a student getting into school or not?
That's a great question. I believe that if a student wants to go to a certain university and they have done their research and they know who the faculty is and they're pinpointing that school because they want to study with a certain faculty, I believe that that speaks highly of the students, you know, like research capabilities and sort of going for the goal, you know. So yes, I think it's okay if students reach out to professors in advance and maybe establish some kind of rapport with them and maybe do some lessons so they can get a feel for, hey, is this person going to be a good fit for me? And then in that process, there's some vetting going on. You know, when we've worked with students, say I work in the USC summer guitar seminar, and I work with high school students
Mhm.
that are guitar players from all over the country. sometimes the world. They come and get a good feel for what USC has to offer in their guitar department by working with us for a couple weeks in the summer. And we get to know them as well. We get to know if they're professionally oriented, if they're taking care of business, if they're mature, if they're smart, if they practice, if they do the assignment, if they're teachable. We learn all that in that process. So yes, personally, I think that's huge. So we have a lot more information to go on as to whether they're going to be a great fit for our program.
That's really good to know. So kind of last question on the topic of auditions, how would you suggest a student prepares for the audition, and how far ahead of time should they start?
Well, first of all, I really believe that it's important for students to read all of the information regarding the auditions and what's required for the pre-screen. It's pretty well laid out in terms of what we're expecting to see on a pre-screen video. And it's amazing that some students don't appear to have read the requirements. So I feel like if students are serious, they read the requirements, they follow the guidelines, and they submit things that we're looking for. And then if they don't, they can always reach out, email a professor and go, hey, I have a question about this. And some of them even want to know, like, hey, I'm considering doing this or this. What do you think? I mean, we're pretty open. We want to help. We want to be helpful and get the right fit for our cohort. You know what I mean? So yeah. we go the distance if needed. Whatever. We want to get the right fit.
That's amazing to hear. That's amazing to hear. So kind of shifting gears from high school students and college students looking into studying with you or anybody at that point for guitar and pop, what would you say is the benefit long-term for getting a degree in guitar performance or pop performance? I sometimes get a lot of questions of, well, why is it that people should, go to school for this, or what are you gaining from, what can you say about the things that people are learning that will kind of get you the leg up in the industry from studying in popping and guitar?
Good question. I think the proof of our success is in our graduates and the sort of marketplace results that we get from our students that are out in the world doing great things. Just the other day we originally had it planned to be an in-person mixer with a bunch of our alumni that were willing to come through and meet a bunch of our current students. These are all professional guitarists who have gone off into the world and are doing a lot of amazing things. So we put on an online panel, and included in that group was a guy that played with Shakira at the Super Bowl, the music director for Billie Eilish. Let's see who else was there. Some really successful recording artists who make records and have done really well on their own as their own artist. Some really important sidemen who have played with all kinds of people. We had a great panel, and it was pretty awesome to see that the proof of our program is in our graduate success, and they have the intellect and the social skills and the USC network, and they have a lot of things that give them an advantage if they want to go into a different area of a profession that is music related, guitar related. A bunch of our guys work at Fender right now. Fender's making a huge, they're doing a huge campaign on, it's called Fender Play, and it's based on, attracting younger people to the guitar. And our students are literally creating that program. They're working there. They're doing the videos. They're doing the lessons. They're planning the curriculum.
Cool.
And teaching's a great alternative or an additional. In my case, it's been a great additional part of my career that I've really enjoyed. So, anyway.
Yeah,
We cultivate that.
it's something you can kind of do alongside performing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, have you seen any opportunities for students to record with artists while they're getting their degree, or is it mainly a thing that you see start to happen after they graduate?
That's a good question. Most of it happens after you graduate, to be honest with you, but it's happened to a lot of our students where they create those, they meet those people and make those relationships while they're in college. You know, they establish themselves in college to where when they get out of school, they are heading out with an artist, maybe as a side person. Some people get it together in college. One of our groups of pop students is now a group called King Princess, and Michaela is the singer, songwriter, leader, and all her whole band were all students in our music program. That couple of them we got over the finish line last year as seniors.
Hmm.
They had one foot in the real world the whole last 2 years of their college career. They were going out and going on tours, playing on shows, like TV shows, doing huge things while they were still in college, and now that's their job, and they're doing great. Um,
So you'd say it is possible to record and have your own, kind of start your career while in school and even go on a tour or something like that while you're still in school. So that's really cool. It's really
yeah,
cool
I
to
think
hear.
I think the most people have a full artist career developed by the time they leave USC in terms of the pop students, especially the singer songwriters and the singers. Their whole 4 years is spent networking, collaborating with producers and songwriters and musicians. And by the time they're out, they have a whole body of work that they've created that is their launching pad for the
Mhm.
rest of their career. And some of them get deals and they get publishing deals and they get some business going while they're in college. A couple people have had to leave school because they have great opportunities. And who knows, some of them come back and some of them don't. But,
Mhm.
I say strike when the iron is hot, or what's the saying? Yeah. Somebody says, "Hey, we want you to sign this deal, and we want to do a record. Consider it. Consider it. Maybe have some consultation on if it's a good move for you, or wait until school's over and then do it." Like we try to help our students if they get these great opportunities, and they
Mhm.
often do.
Yeah, that's great. I've actually witnessed, Errol and I have both witnessed a lot of popular music students right now already kind of like, I know a couple who've gone on like little tours, or they're gigging all around town. They're releasing EPs and everything. So
Yeah,
really great. Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. It really is. And USC, we're set up for that. We got the network. We have everybody in place to help the whole process, not just part of it. We have people in music industry who can help with the other side of things, and we have connections to the industry. So it's all there.
So we have just a couple more questions, and one of them is, how do you think the music industry has changed since you started yourself as an
Oh
artist?
my gosh, back when? Yeah. Oh, it's changed a lot. Yeah. How has it changed? Well, so what's changed a lot is obviously the technology has changed, and I've always been into like producing, songwriting, recording. So I, along the way, have had every step of the home studio setup, right? And it's evolved a lot to where now my studio it's I can put out record quality, state of the industry kind of music out of my home, which is a huge advancement. So, and now everybody can make music in their home on their laptop. That's a huge shift, right? Where it used to be where you had to have a budget and go into a proper studio, spend a lot of money, have somebody. Sorry, I'm gonna turn that up. Have a lot of money to go record proper music. That's a huge shift. The visual element of music in terms of having a world audience through YouTube is obviously probably the biggest shift. Included in that is the ability for young students to sponge in so much music by the time they're ready for a college audition. It's crazy. Like they've already listened to and seen every major player in the genre and soaked it all in and took what they wanted from all the great players in history and all the great music that's been made in history to sort of bring that all in and absorb it at a young age when your brain can really do something with that information and really store it. You know, it's pretty amazing. That's been one of the most incredible parts of it, is to watch the level of incoming student and their ability. I would have never gotten into music school back in the day compared to the audition that the kid is bringing today. You know what I mean? It's nuts, man.
It's cool to hear the advancement and how I personally believe that I always hear live music and all this is dying and people don't want to do it or go into it. But I think, the complete opposite. I'm with you on the idea that music is bigger and better than it's ever been. And we've got people 14, Billy just won record of the year, 18 years old,
Totally.
So,
Incredible.
who would have thought, seeing that stuff like that. So just one last question, and it has to deal with your advice to students all around the world looking into going into music. What is your biggest piece of advice for an aspiring musician?
Good question, Errol. What am I going to say to that? Well, let's just say that if you have the passion and you feel that music is your calling, and by the time you're in high school, you pretty much know if you're a musician or not. You know what I'm saying? You've had enough experiences to say that I'm in this for the right reasons. I know that it is in my core of my DNA that I'm going to be a musician, kind of like I felt when I was young. I kind of knew this was my thing. And to your point, I really feel like the future is bright and it's huge, man. It's like all world audience. We never had that before.
Mm-hmm.
So live music is always going to be the king of the experience, experiencing the music. So the advice is try to look past. Sometimes you got to look past the current status of, the attitude about music, which is it's really bad. The record business is dead. It's really hard to make a living. It's just tough. If you want to do music, let me tell you, the options are endless and the income streams are endless. And if you're creative and smart, you'll navigate the terrain of a arts, career. And if it's your thing, man, you got to do it.
That's really good to know. Yeah. And it's reassuring as musicians, because we all have that worry sometimes that there's no way to actually make a career out of it. But
yeah, I feel like it's happening, like the bigger the audience, the more opportunities there are. And the audience is just going to keep growing for artist exposure and good music. I'll say one thing. Good music is good music, and it always rises to the top. And if people want to listen to your music, it's going to find its audience.
Yeah, for us over here, the Free Range Musician, we're really happy that you're able to join us today. Everybody, we're gonna leave Tim's email and his information so you can contact him and ask him any questions you might have about USC or about guitar lessons and his story and his journey. And we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for doing this, you guys. Really important. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Bye.